Hello and welcome to this special English learning session. In this video, we will practice vocabulary, grammar, and listening skills. By the end, you'll feel more confident using English in everyday situations. Let's begin with a warm-up to prepare our minds for learning. Repetition is key, so don't hesitate to repeat after me. If possible, read the text on the screen while you listen. Here are some basic phrases to start with. Hello, how are you? And thank you. These are simple but essential words for everyday conversations. First, let's say, hello. Repeat after me. Hello. Great. Now let's try, how are you? Repeat, how are you? Wonderful. Lastly, thank you. Say it with me. Thank you. These phrases are useful when meeting someone new or being polite. Practice them daily to build confidence. Now, let's move to a new topic. Today's theme is food and eating out, which is something everyone can relate to. Learning food-related vocabulary is helpful for dining and travel. Let's get started. Our first word is menu. A menu is a list of food and drinks available at a restaurant. For example, can I see the menu, please? Now repeat. Can I see the menu, please? The second word is order. To order means to ask for food or drinks. For example, I would like to order a pizza. Try saying it with me. I would like to order a pizza. Next is waiter. A waiter is the person who serves you at a restaurant. For example, the waiter brought me a glass of water. Repeat, the waiter brought me a glass of water. Another important word is bill. The bill shows the total amount to pay. For example, can I have the bill, please? Repeat, can I have the bill, please? Let's continue with more food-related words. Our next word is dessert. Dessert is a sweet dish you eat after your meal. For example, I ordered ice cream for dessert. Now let's try reservation. A reservation is when you book a table in advance. For example, I made a reservation for dinner at 7 p.m. Repeat, I made a reservation for dinner at 7 p.m. You sit down at the coffee shop and look at the menu. The waiter walks over and smiles. What can I get for you today? He asks with a friendly tone. You take a moment to decide and then reply, I'll have a cappuccino and a slice of cheesecake. Please. The waiter nods and writes down your order. Great choice, he says. I'll bring that right out. You thank him and watch as he walks back to the counter to prepare your order. The coffee shop is warm and cozy, filled with the sound of light chatter. You see other customers enjoying their drinks and snacks. It feels relaxing. The waiter returns with your cappuccino and cheesecake. Here you go, he says, placing them on the table. Enjoy your meal, he adds cheerfully. You take a sip of the cappuccino and a bite of the cheesecake. The flavors are perfect and you feel satisfied. It's a small but enjoyable moment. As you finish your food, the waiter comes back. Would you like anything else? He asks. You shake your head and smile. No, thank you. Just the bill, please. The waiter nods and brings the bill to your table. You check the amount, take out your wallet, and pay. Thank you for visiting, the waiter says as you leave. After leaving the coffee shop, you decide to take a walk. The weather is nice, and the streets are busy with people shopping and talking. It feels lively. You pass by a bakery with fresh bread on display. The smell of baked goods fills the air. You stop for a moment and consider going inside. The bakery is small but inviting. You walk in and see rows of bread, cakes, and cookies. A baker behind the counter smiles and greets you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, you reply. Everything looks delicious. What do you recommend? The baker thinks for a moment and then points to a loaf of bread. This sourdough is very popular, he says. It's fresh and has a wonderful flavor. You decide to buy it and hand him some money. The baker wraps the bread carefully and hands it to you. Thank you. Have a great day, he says. You smile and thank him before leaving. Walking home, you think about the small joys of the day. A good meal, a kind conversation, and a fresh loaf of bread. It all feels comforting. Later, you decide to cook dinner at home. You take out the ingredients and start preparing a simple meal. Cooking is something you enjoy. You chop vegetables and heat a pan on the stove. The sound of sizzling onions fills the kitchen. It smells good, and you feel excited to eat. As you cook, you think about how to describe the steps in English. First, chop the vegetables, you say to yourself. Next, heat the pan. Speaking aloud helps you practice your English. You try to describe everything you do. Now I'm adding spices, you say. I stir them to mix the flavors. Once the food is ready, you sit down to eat. The meal tastes great, and you feel proud of your cooking skills. It's a small but rewarding moment. After dinner, you decide to practice English a bit more. You take out a notebook and write a few sentences about your day. Writing helps you remember. You write, "Today I went to a coffee shop and had a cappuccino. Then I bought bread from a bakery. I also cooked a delicious dinner at home." Reading what you wrote makes you smile. It's simple, but it shows how much you are learning. You decide to add more details to improve your writing. You write, "The waiter at the coffee shop was very kind. He brought my order quickly. The baker also recommended fresh sourdough bread." Practicing like this feels helpful. You think about how to expand your vocabulary. What other words can you use to describe your day? You look around your room and name objects in English. "Table, chair, lamp," you say aloud. Then you try sentences. "The lamp is on the table." This kind of practice feels easy but effective. You also try describing the weather. "It is sunny today," you say. "The sky is blue and it is warm." Later, you call a friend to practice speaking English. Your friend answers and says, "Hi, how are you?" You reply, "I'm good, thank you." "How are you?" Your friend says, "I'm fine." "What did you do today?" You tell him about your trip to the coffee shop and bakery. He listens and asks questions. "Did you enjoy the cheesecake?" he asks. You reply, "Yes, it was delicious. I also had a cappuccino." "The coffee shop was very nice." Your friend then tells you about his day. He went to the park for a walk. "The weather was so nice," he says. "I saw many people with their pets." You ask, "Did you see any dogs?" He laughs and says, "Yes, lots of them. Some were small and cute. Others were big and very friendly." Talking to your friend makes you feel happy. Practicing English with someone else is always helpful. It builds confidence and improves fluency. After the call, you decide to read a short story in English. You open a book and find a story about a family going on vacation. It looks interesting. The story begins with the family packing their bags. They are excited to visit a beach. The children are especially happy because they love swimming. On the first day of the trip, the family goes to the beach early in the morning. The water is clear and the sand feels warm under their feet. The children run into the water, laughing and playing. The parents sit on the sand, enjoying the sunshine. It's a perfect day for everyone. After reading the story, you think about the vocabulary. Words like vacation, beach, and sand seem useful. You decide to practice using them. You say, "I want to go on vacation to the beach. I will walk on the sand and swim in the water." Saying these sentences feels fun and easy. You keep reading more stories, practicing new words and phrases. Each time, you feel a little more confident in your ability to speak and understand English. Tomorrow, you plan to watch a movie in English. You pick one with subtitles so you can follow along. Watching movies helps improve listening skills. Practicing English every day feels rewarding. It's not always easy, but the progress is clear. You remind yourself to stay consistent and keep learning. You sit down at your desk the next morning with a cup of tea. The sun is shining through the window, and the day feels calm. You decide to spend some time practicing English. You open your notebook and write about your plans for the day. "Today I will practice reading, listening, and speaking," you write. "I will also try to learn new words." After writing, you decide to read a short article in English. The article is about a famous city. It describes the buildings, parks, and culture of the city. As you read, you underline words you don't understand. You see a word like historic and think about its meaning. You check your dictionary and learn it means old and important. You repeat the new word aloud to remember it better. Historic, you say. "This is a historic building." Using it in a sentence helps you understand how to use it. After finishing the article, you think about the city described in it. You imagine walking through its streets and seeing the landmarks. It feels exciting. You decide to describe your own city in English. "My city has many parks and shops," you say. "There is a river that runs through it. It's a nice place to live." Describing things around you helps improve your speaking skills. You look out the window and name what you see. "Trees, cars, houses," you say. Next, you decide to practice listening. You play a short podcast in English. The host is talking about travel tips, which sounds interesting to you. The host says, "Always pack light when you travel. Take only what you need. You pause the podcast and repeat the sentence. Always pack light when you travel. Listening to the podcast helps you hear how words are pronounced. You focus on how the speaker says each word clearly and naturally. The host continues. If you visit a new place, try the local food. It's the best way to experience the culture. You agree and repeat the sentence aloud. After listening, you decide to write down 3 tips for travelers. 1. Pack light. 2. Try local food. 3. Learn some basic phrases of the local language, you write. You practice saying these phrases as if you were giving advice. Pack light, you say? It makes traveling easier. Try local food. It's part of the experience. Later, you call your friend to practice speaking. Your friend answers and says, "Hello, how are you today?" You reply, "I'm good, thank you." "How are you?" Your friend says, "I'm great. I just finished reading a book in English. It was challenging but fun." You ask, "What was the book about?" Your friend explains, "It was a story about a boy who travels the world. He visits many places and learns new things. The ending was very inspiring." You ask, "Did you learn any new words from the book?" Your friend says, "Yes, I learned the word adventure. It means an exciting journey." You practice the new word together. Adventure, you say. Going to a new country is an adventure. Trying something new is an adventure. Talking to your friend makes you feel more confident. Practicing with someone else helps you improve your conversation skills and learn from each other. After the call, you decide to write a short story in English. You write about a character named Sarah who loves cooking. Sarah dreams of becoming a chef. In your story, Sarah practices cooking every day. She tries new recipes and experiments with flavors. Her favorite dish to make is pasta. One day, Sarah decides to enter a cooking competition. She feels nervous but excited. She prepares her best dish and hopes the judges will like it. At the competition, Sarah meets other cooks. Everyone is friendly and shares their passion for food. Sarah feels inspired by their stories. When it's her turn, Sarah presents her dish to the judges. They taste it and smile. One judge says, "This is delicious. You have a real talent for cooking." Sarah wins the competition and feels proud of herself. She realizes that hard work and practice can lead to success. She decides to keep chasing her dream. After finishing your story, you read it aloud. It feels good to hear your own words in English. You notice areas where you can improve and make small changes. Next, you practice more vocabulary. You focus on words related to emotions. For example, happy, excited, nervous, and proud. You try using these words in sentences. I feel happy when I learn something new. I feel excited about improving my English. Saying the sentences helps you remember. You also think about situations where people feel different emotions. People feel nervous before a test, you say. They feel proud when they do well. Practicing vocabulary like this makes it easier to express yourself. You feel more confident describing how you feel in different situations. Later, you decide to practice grammar. You focus on the past tense, which is used to talk about things that already happened. For example, I visited the park yesterday. You say the sentence aloud and think about how the verb changes. Visit becomes visited in the past tense. You try more examples. I cooked dinner last night. I walked to the store. I watched a movie with my friend. Each sentence helps you practice. To make it fun, you write a short diary entry about your day. Today, I went to the coffee shop. I ordered a cappuccino and cheesecake. It was a great day. Reading your diary aloud helps you practice speaking. You imagine telling someone about your day, which feels natural and easy. The next day, you meet a friend for lunch. The friend asks, "What did you do yesterday?" You reply, "I went to a coffee shop and read an article in English." Your friend says, "That sounds nice. I spent the day cleaning my house. It was tiring but needed." You laugh and say, "Cleaning is hard work." Talking about daily activities helps you practice common phrases. It feels good to have simple conversations and understand each other easily. At lunch, you look at the menu together. Your friend says, "I think I'll order a sandwich." "What about you?" You reply, "I'll have the salad and some iced tea." The waiter comes to take your order. He smiles and says, "What can I get for you today?" You tell him your choices and he writes them down. When the food arrives, you both thank the waiter. The salad looks fresh and the iced tea is cold. You enjoy the meal and talk about your weekend plans. Your friend says, "I might go hiking. It's a good way to relax and enjoy nature." You reply, That sounds fun. I should try hiking sometime. Practicing English with friends and in daily life feels natural. You notice your progress and feel motivated to keep improving. As the day ends, you sit down to review what you've learned. You write sentences using the new words and phrases you practiced. It feels rewarding. English is becoming easier for you each day. You know that with patience and practice, you will achieve your goals. You feel proud of your hard work. You decide to take a walk in the evening to relax. The air feels cool and the streets are quiet. As you walk, you think about how to describe what you see in English. You see a man walking his dog. The dog looks happy and wags its tail. You smile and say, "That is a friendly dog," practicing your English. Next, you pass a small park where children are playing. They are running, laughing, and climbing on the playground. It looks like they are having fun. You sit on a bench to rest for a while. The park is peaceful and you hear birds chirping in the trees. You take a deep breath and feel calm. An older woman sitting on a nearby bench smiles at you. She says, "It's a beautiful evening, isn't it?" You nod and reply, "Yes, it is very nice." The woman tells you she comes to the park every evening. She enjoys watching the children play and listening to the birds. You find her story sweet. You decide to practice more English and say, "I like walking here too. It is very peaceful." The woman agrees and says, "Yes, it is a lovely place." After some time, you thank the woman for the chat and continue your walk. The streets are now lit with street lights and the sky is turning dark. You notice a small store with a bright sign that says, "Open." You decide to go inside and see what they have. The shopkeeper greets you warmly. "Good evening," the shopkeeper says. "How can I help you?" You smile and reply, "I'm just looking around, thank you." He nods and lets you browse. You see shelves full of books, snacks, and small gifts. A colorful notebook catches your eye. You pick it up and think about buying it for your studies. The shopkeeper walks over and says, "That's a popular choice. It has good quality paper." You thank him for the information and decide to buy it. He wraps the notebook in a paper bag and hands it to you. "Here you go," he says. "Have a great evening." You thank him and leave the shop. Walking home, you feel happy with your small purchase. You think about how you can use the notebook to write more in English. It feels motivating. At home, you sit down at your desk and open the notebook. The pages are smooth and you feel excited to start writing. You decide to write about your walk. You write, "Today I went to the park. I talked to a kind woman. Then I bought a notebook from a small store." Writing about your day feels satisfying. You add more details to practice your vocabulary. The park was peaceful and the children were playing. The shopkeeper was friendly and the notebook is colorful. After writing, you read the sentences aloud. Hearing your own voice helps you notice your pronunciation. You feel more confident with every word you say. You decide to listen to some music in English before bed. The lyrics are simple, and you try to sing along. It's a fun way to practice pronunciation. The next morning, you wake up feeling refreshed. You decide to start the day by reading a book in English. It's a story about a young girl learning to play the piano. The girl in the story practices every day, even when it's difficult. Her teacher encourages her and says, "Practice makes perfect." You find the story inspiring. You think about how practice has helped you improve your English. Just like the girl in the story, you know that hard work leads to progress. Later, you meet a friend for coffee. Your friend says, "How is your English practice going?" You smile and reply, "It's going well. I've been practicing every day." Your friend says, "That's great. I've been watching English movies to improve my listening skills. It's really helpful." You agree and decide to try it too. The waiter comes to take your order. He says, "What would you like to drink?" You reply, "I'll have a latte, please." Your friend orders a cappuccino. While waiting for your drinks, you and your friend talk about your favorite movies. You say, "I like movies with happy endings. They make me feel good." Your friend says, "Me too. I also enjoy learning new words from movies. It's a fun way to practice." You both laugh and agree to watch a movie together soon. When the drinks arrive, the waiter places them on the table and says, "Enjoy." You thank him and take a sip of your latte. It tastes warm and comforting. After finishing your coffee, you and your friend decide to take a walk. The weather is sunny and the streets are lively. You enjoy talking as you walk. Your friend asks, What is your favorite thing about learning English? You think for a moment and say, I like being able to talk to more people. It feels amazing. Your friend agrees and says, yes, learning a new language opens many doors. It's a great skill to have. You feel motivated by the conversation. As you walk, you see a bookstore and decide to go inside. The shelves are filled with books of all kinds. You browse through the English section. Your friend picks up a book and says, this one looks interesting. It's a collection of short stories. You agree and decide to buy it for more reading practice. The cashier smiles as you pay for the book. Enjoy your reading, she says. You thank her and leave the store, excited to start the book later. On the way home, you think about how many small moments help you improve your English. Every conversation, every book, and every new word feels important. At home, you sit down with the book and start reading. The first story is about a boy who builds a treehouse with his friends. It's simple, but enjoyable. The story describes how the boy and his friends gather wood and tools. They work together and have fun, even when the work is hard. When the treehouse is finished, the boy feels proud. He invites his family to see it, and everyone is impressed. The story ends with a happy celebration. After reading, you think about what you learned. You saw words like build, gather, and celebrate. You write them down in your notebook to practice later. You feel proud of the progress you are making. Every day, you are learning new things and getting better at English. It's a journey, and you are enjoying it. You decide to try something new the next day. You download an app for learning English and explore its features. The app looks easy to use and fun. The first exercise is about basic phrases. It says, hello, how are you? You say the words aloud and feel happy when you pronounce them correctly. The app then asks you to match words with pictures. You see an apple, a cat, and a house. You tap on the right words and smile when you get them all correct. Next, the app plays a short dialogue. A man says, can I have some water, please? A woman replies, sure, here you go. You listen carefully and repeat the lines. You enjoy using the app because it feels interactive. The lessons are short, and you can do them anytime. You decide to use it every day to improve. Later, you go to a library to find more books in English. The librarian greets you and says, welcome, how can I help you today? You smile and say, I'm looking for books to practice English. The librarian shows you a section with simple books for learners. You pick a storybook and a travel guide. Both look interesting and useful. At the checkout counter, the librarian says, good choices. Enjoy your reading. You thank her and leave, excited to start your new books at home. When you get home, you open the travel guide first. It describes different countries and their cultures. You learn about Italy, Japan, and Australia. You read a sentence that says, Italy is famous for its food and art. You think about how to use the word famous in your own sentences. You write, this city is famous for its parks. That restaurant is famous for its desserts. Practicing with examples helps you remember the word better. Next, you read a story from the other book. It's about a young girl who moves to a new city. She feels nervous at first, but makes friends quickly. The story uses simple words, which makes it easy to understand. You underline words like friendly, neighbor, and smile to review later. After reading, you try to retell the story aloud. The girl moved to a new city. She met her neighbors, and they were friendly. They helped her feel at home. Retelling stories helps you practice speaking and organizing your thoughts. You feel proud when you can tell the story without forgetting details. The next day, you meet your neighbor while checking the mail. She smiles and says, good morning. How are you? You reply, I'm fine, thank you. How are you? Your neighbor tells you about a local event happening soon. She says, there's a farmer's market this Saturday. You should check it out. You thank her for the information. You decide to visit the market on Saturday to practice English. You feel excited about meeting people and having conversations in real life. When you arrive at the market, the first stall you see sells fresh fruits. The seller says, good morning. Would you like to try some apples? You smile and say, yes, thank you. The apples taste sweet and you decide to buy some. You say, I'll take 3, please. The seller packs them for you and says, have a great day. At the next stall, you see handmade jewelry. The seller says, these bracelets are made locally. They are one of a kind. You reply, they are beautiful. How much is this one? You pick a bracelet, and the seller tells you the price. You decide to buy it as a gift for your friend. The seller thanks you and says, "I hope your friend likes it." Walking through the market, you feel more confident. You enjoy talking to the sellers and practicing English in a natural way. It feels like a big step forward. You stop at a food stall that smells amazing. The cook says, "Would you like to try our special sandwich? It's very popular." You agree and say, "Yes, please." The sandwich tastes delicious, and you tell the cook, "This is very tasty." "Thank you." He smiles and says, "I'm glad you like it." "Have a great day." After the market, you meet your friend to give her the bracelet. She says, "This is so pretty. Thank you so much." You tell her about your experience at the market. Your friend says, "It sounds like you had a great time. It's amazing how much you've improved your English. You should feel proud." You smile and thank her. In the evening, you review the new words you learned at the market. You write sentences like, "The apples were sweet. The bracelet was handmade. The sandwich was tasty." You practice saying these sentences aloud, focusing on pronunciation. Each time you speak, you feel more confident and fluent. The next morning, you decide to call a friend who lives in another city. He answers the phone and says, "Hello? How are you?" You reply, "I'm doing well. How about you?" Your friend tells you about his weekend. He says, "I went hiking with some friends. The view from the top was amazing." You say, "That sounds fun. I would like to try hiking someday." You tell your friend about the market you visited. He says, "It sounds like a great way to practice English. Keep it up, and you'll be fluent in no time." After the call, you feel encouraged to keep learning. You know that every small effort you make brings you closer to your goal. You decide to watch a short video in English to practice listening. The video is about how to stay healthy. The speaker says, "Drink plenty of water and eat fresh fruits." You repeat the sentence and think about your own habits. You say, "I drink water every day. I eat fruits like apples and bananas." Practicing this way feels helpful. Later, you go to the grocery store to buy more fruits. The cashier greets you and says, "Hello, did you find everything you needed?" You reply, "Yes, thank you." At the checkout, you see a bag of candies and think about buying it. The cashier says, "These are very popular with kids." You smile and say, "I'll take one." The cashier thanks you and wishes you a good day. You leave the store feeling happy and ready to practice more English at home. When you get home, you sit down to write about your day. Writing about everyday activities helps you use what you've learned. It also feels rewarding. You write, "I went to the market and bought apples. I talked to friendly sellers. Later, I bought candies at the store. Today was a good day." Reading your sentences aloud helps you check your pronunciation. You notice how your English is improving, and it motivates you to keep going. Every day, you take another step toward fluency. You feel proud of your progress and excited about what you will learn next. Keep practicing, and you will achieve your goals. You decide to visit a nearby park in the afternoon. The sun is shining and the breeze feels nice. You think it's the perfect time to relax and enjoy nature. As you walk through the park, you notice a group of people playing soccer. They cheer and laugh as they kick the ball. You stop for a moment to watch them. A young boy sitting on a bench waves at you. He says, "Are you here to play too?" You smile and reply, "No, I'm just taking a walk." The boy tells you that he comes to the park every day after school. He likes to play soccer with his friends. You say, "That sounds like fun." You continue walking and see an artist painting a picture of the park. The painting shows trees, flowers, and a pond. It looks very colorful and beautiful. The artist notices you looking and says, "Do you like it?" You reply, "Yes, it's amazing. You are very talented." The artist smiles and thanks you. You walk toward the pond and see ducks swimming. A man nearby is feeding them small pieces of bread. He says, "The ducks always come here at this time." You ask, "Do they eat only bread?" The man says, "They eat other things too, but they like bread the most." You watch the ducks for a while. After some time, you find a quiet spot under a tree and sit down. You take out your notebook to write about your day. Writing outside feels refreshing. You write, "Today I went to the park. I saw people playing soccer, an artist painting, and ducks swimming. It was a peaceful afternoon. While you are writing, a dog runs up to you. The dog wags its tail and looks friendly. The owner calls out, "Sorry about that." He's very curious. You smile and say, "It's okay. He's cute." The owner walks over and says, "His name is Max. He loves meeting new people." You pet the dog gently. The owner tells you that Max is 3 years old and very playful. You say, he seems very happy. The owner nods and says, yes, he loves being outside. After saying goodbye to the dog and his owner, you decide to head home. The walk back feels relaxing and you enjoy the fresh air. At home, you make a cup of tea and sit by the window. You think about all the new words you learned today. Writing them down feels helpful. You write artist, pond, bread, ducks, playful. Then you make sentences. The artist is painting. The pond is quiet. The ducks are swimming. Later in the evening, you call a family member to practice speaking. They ask, how was your day? You say, it was good. I went to the park. You tell them about the artist and the ducks. They say, that sounds lovely. Did you talk to anyone? You reply, yes, I met a man feeding the ducks. Your family member encourages you to keep practicing. They say, talking to people helps a lot. You're doing great. You thank them for their support. Before bed, you decide to read a few pages from your English book. The story is about a woman who learns to bake bread. It feels inspiring. The story describes how she gathers ingredients and follows a recipe. She makes mistakes but keeps trying. In the end, her bread turns out perfect. You underline words like ingredients, recipe, and bake. Then you think about how to use them in your own sentences. Writing examples feels helpful. The next day, you visit a cafe to meet a friend. The waiter greets you and says, good morning. What would you like to order? You reply, I'll have a coffee, please. Your friend arrives a few minutes later and says, sorry, I'm late. You smile and say, no problem. I just got here. The waiter brings your coffee. Your friend orders a tea and asks, how is your English practice going? You say, it's going well. I've been writing and talking to more people. Your friend says, that's great. I've been trying to learn new words too. It's fun to challenge myself. You both share tips on how to improve. The waiter brings your friend's tea and says, enjoy. You both thank him and continue talking. The conversation feels easy and enjoyable. After finishing your drinks, you and your friend walk to a bookstore nearby. The shelves are full of books in different languages, including English. Your friend picks up a novel and says, this one looks interesting. You agree and decide to buy it for more reading practice. The cashier smiles as you pay. Walking home, you feel excited to start the new book. You think about how reading helps you learn new words and understand grammar better. At home, you read the first chapter. It's about a man traveling to a new country. He faces challenges but learns a lot along the way. You underline words like journey, explore, and adventure. Then you write sentences. The journey was long. I want to explore new places. Life is an adventure. Each sentence makes you feel more confident. You realize that practicing every day is helping you reach your goals step by step. You decide to end the day by listening to an English podcast. The topic is about how to stay positive. The speaker says, focus on small achievements every day. You think about your own achievements, like talking to people at the park and reading a new book. You feel proud of your progress and motivated to keep going. The next morning, you decide to try cooking something simple. You search for an English recipe online and choose pancakes. The instructions are easy to follow. You mix the ingredients and heat the pan. As you cook, you repeat the steps aloud. Add flour. Crack an egg. Mix well. It feels like a fun way to learn. When the pancakes are ready, you taste them and smile. They are delicious and you feel proud of your effort. You write about the experience in your notebook. You write, today I made pancakes. The recipe was easy to follow. Cooking in English was fun. Each sentence feels like a small victory. Practicing English in different ways, like reading, writing, and speaking, makes every day exciting. You know you are improving, and that keeps you motivated.